So how do you short a stock? What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Technical Solutions. I want to do a 1 week recap in my experience, and that's all this is, shorting the stock market. And it's really just one stock that I focused on. I hope that my experience just gets you one step closer to your overall goal. And again, it's literally just 1 week. So if you have any tips or tricks for beginners that are just getting started when it comes down to shorting a stock based off of your experience, your mistake, and your best practices, all I would love to encourage you to do is to comment those down below to get someone one step closer to their overall goal, and I hope that we earn your thumbs up. So like many of you guys know, in my opinion, I viewed the overall market to become very overbought, meaning that it was no longer a good deal. We were at 180-day highs, and what that means is a lot of stocks, not all, but a lot of stocks were very bullish, but they were very overbought. So I was anticipating a pullback, and what I viewed that as is this could be a very unique time to test out how to short stock. If you've been a part of my YouTube channel, you guys know that I don't ever short stocks. And the reason why is I feel, in my opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, I feel like when you short a stock, it comes at a greater form of risk because technically, when you go long on a stock, meaning that when you invest in it, all you can lose is a dollar amount that you put in because all it can do is go to zero, right? But when you short a stock, there is no cap out how high that specific stock can go. So technically there's an infinite amount of money in which that you can lose, which is the whole idea of short squeezes. With the GME, with the AMC, when people were trying to short squeeze out those short sellers. And the really beautiful thing about this is the way that I chose to approach testing and learning how to short a stock, which again, the example that I want to give you is Tesla. I was taking this week as a lesson learned. I wasn't trying to make the most money. I wasn't approaching it in a very aggressive way. And the way that I want to share this with you, it's all about your intent. So many people, when they're learning how to trade, they're not really focusing on the learning part, let's be honest. They're focusing on how to make money right away as they're just getting started. And although some might get lucky when they're just getting started, it's, again, the overall big picture, understanding that yeah, they might have a couple of green days, but it's only a matter of time for them to have a red day and then give back all of their profits. And that's what I want you guys to try to avoid. Focus on the learning part so you learn from your mistakes and not focus so much on the making money part, as you have nothing but time, right, to make money later down the road once you understand what you're doing. And that's how I tried to approach this. So that was my number one focus this week. I was, investing and trading with over $1 million. Again, that's my position that I was in. So if you're investing with $5,000, if you're investing with $10,000, I don't know what it is that you're investing with. When it comes down to shorting something, or when it comes down to trying something new that you're not familiar with, why would you approach it in the same aggressive way as something that you are already very well versed with, right? So I simply was focusing on learning from my mistakes. And instead of trading with $1 million and trying to short with $1 million, I was focusing on it. Again, we're all different positions, but I was trying to short anywhere from around originally $10,000 up to $60,000. And again, I was just trying to get my feet wet and become more comfortable and eager to make mistakes, learn from them, but in which that I do it with the dollar amount that I can tolerate. That was my number one focus. I was focusing on learning how to short, not trying to short to make money or make the most money. So that was the way that I was approaching the market. And the reason why is, again, I shared with you that I personally viewed the NASDAQ market to be a little bit more on the overbought side. I shared when I took my original short position, it was 10 shares of Tesla, and I think I took my original short at $761.14, if I'm not mistaken. And I did it with 10 shares, which was about $7,000. So again, getting my feet wet. And again, we're all in different perspectives. If you're trading with $1,000, just do it with one share. Why be so eager to approach it in such an aggressive way? You have so much time, right? So I approached it in a much more lighthearted way. Why? Because I want to make sure I focus on the learning part, not so much on the making money part. Because if things go south, right, I'm new to this. And if I make mistakes, I don't want to hesitate. I don't want to be emotional when it comes down to cutting losses or covering my short. For those that might be asking, I'm sorry that I didn't, I kind of explained this in the very beginning. What is shorting? Shorting is betting against an overall company. So you make money when you take an original short when the stock goes down. So again, I normally focus on trading ETFs and inverse ETFs. A lot of you guys might know TQQQ goes up when the overall NASDAQ market goes up. SQQQ goes up when the overall NASDAQ market goes down. I view Tesla to be a little bit more on the overbought side. I took a light position of 10 shares. And the part that I enjoyed most is once Tesla actually began to pull back a little bit, we saw it go from, I think it hit highs of 770. Again, don't quote me on that, but it hit highs of 770. But once it began to pull on back, I think it hit lows of like 720, 725, and I was really enjoying it because once it actually got confirmation of it breaking below the EMA line and actually making lower lows, signs of a pullback, I began to add a couple more shares to my short position. Again, in a way that I felt comfortable, but not so much where I'm just going to go in, again, shorting Tesla with $1 million. And that's something, again, that you really need to make sure you take into consideration is just because you're testing something out or just because you are trying maybe to learn a new area in the market, you do want to approach it in a much more conservative way and maybe be a little bit more selective, but you should never be scared, right? Anytime, and this is one thing that I want to share with you guys, it doesn't matter if you're going long, it doesn't matter if the market's very inconsistent, it doesn't matter if you're learning how to short a stock. I don't trade options, but if you guys want to learn how to trade options, the way that I always try to do it is in a way that really allows you to focus on the learning part. And I can't stress this enough, and it's the dollar amount behind that trade. There's no question about it. I do not think that I would be as comfortable with this week and how it played out if I tried to short Tesla with $1 million. I just don't, because I don't feel like I would be able to tolerate that type of fluctuation. I wouldn't have the experience, I wouldn't have the confidence, and I wouldn't have the track record to short Tesla with such an aggressive position size. So my number one recommendation for anyone that's trying anything new, not just shorting anything, but you should never be scared. It just should encourage you to be more selective and empower you to really focus on the learning part and not so much on the making money part, as you have nothing but time to do that. Watching your position size, making sure that instead of buying 100 shares of something to try to make money, why not just buy one share and simply test it out? And one of my biggest takeaways from shorting Tesla, because I was trying to be more selective, I caught myself so many times covering my shorts, which means locking in my profits as Tesla was selling off so much quicker than I normally would when I'm going long on something. And the example that I want to give you is when something is pushing up, I'm known to lock in profits pretty early, right? That's something that I tend to do, especially if you're part of the Learn Plan Profit group. I'm notorious for that. My main focus is, locking in profits and not being afraid to walk away with some of those profits in my pocket. But I was even more selective when I was shorting Tesla. Why? Again, I can't stress this enough. Focusing on the learning part, not so much obsessed about the making the most money for every single trade that I take. My short positions were not perfect. Today I made a couple of mistakes. At one point I was up over $1,600 and now, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was down 100, but now I'm up $300 on the day. So big takeaways. I started my E-Trade account with $50,000 this week, and I'm closing this week at $54,000 or $55,000. So nearly 10% growth. And again, this is not something that I experience every single week. This is something that, I really just tried to take advantage of the timing of these overbought levels, and I did it in a way that really allowed me to focus on what's important, and that's learning from my mistake. So I'm so happy that I'm able to be in a position where I can learn how to do something, as in short selling, but as well as walk away with some profits in my pocket. So number one takeaway is, if you're focusing on learning how to do anything, dollar amount has so much to do with your ability to actually focus on the learning part. If you have so much money invested and things begin to go south, firsthand you're going to hesitate to cut losses. And that's not going to be enjoyable. You're going to discourage yourself, and you're never going to want to do it again. So please, please, please take your position size into consideration. You should never be scared to do something. If you're scared to already do something, you're already doubting yourself, and you're just putting yourself in a position to fail. Being scared, right? There's this quote saying, things don't become less scary, you just become more comfortable being scared. Put yourself in a position to succeed. Instead of taking a super aggressive position size, put yourself in a position to succeed with that dollar amount behind that trade. Focus on the learning part, not so much on the making money part. And the last thing is, I was super, super lenient with locking in profits. Sometimes when I'm going long on something, right, because I tend to do that a lot, I don't hesitate to allow something to run maybe a little bit higher. Maybe I'm a little bit more selective with my limit orders of, hey, I want to sell Tesla at $740, but it's at $739. I'm gonna wait one more dollar. It wasn't about nickel and diming every single trade. It was about looking at overbought levels, looking at oversold levels, and because I wasn't so focused on my position size or the dollar amount, anytime something was oversold, I would cover my short. Anytime something was overbought, I would average into my position size. It really allowed me and made it so much more enjoyable to focus on what's important. I wasn't afraid to lock in profits. I wasn't afraid to cut losses. I wasn't afraid to make mistakes. Why? Because I did it with a dollar amount that made sense and I can tolerate. And if you're going to be asking down in the comment section, what's that dollar amount that you think that I should start learning how to do anything with? Not just investing in the stock market, not just trading in the stock market, but also short selling, trading options, whatever the case might be. You guys know that there's so many different ways on how to make money in this market. My only encouragement for you is to put yourself in a position to succeed. And I think that's a very common mistake that just a lot of beginners make, and it's the eagerness, especially more now than ever before because the market is so accessible, the eagerness to make money right away. Again, I understand it. There's a lot of hype right now. There's a lot of opportunity. But like we've said, nothing in life worth having should ever come easy, and the stock market definitely is no exception. So this is my 1 week recap when it comes down to learning how to short in the stock market. I wanted to explain to you guys a very simple way of what short selling is, why I decided to begin to short sell this week, and how I did it with a much lighter position. The market was a little bit more on the overbought side, so I thought that it was good timing because I saw a potential pullback. And then when it comes down to the dollar amount that I began short selling with, I did it with a dollar amount in which I can tolerate. So very simple tips for you guys. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability down in the comment section. I hope that I earned your thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you guys want to watch me trade live every morning, click the second link in the description, and we'll see you on Monday at Market Open. Until then, wish you guys nothing but the best, an amazing weekend, and we'll see you for our Sunday Stock Talk at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.